Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the first ever conversation with Caleb. If you couldn't tell from the informational episode, this is the new style that we will be rolling out for half of the episodes this season. Again, all that information is listed over, not listed, spoken, told directly to you over in the previous episode. So please go take a look at that, the information dump over there. But I am so excited to welcome you back to the Make Mental podcast after what feels like a long break. I promise you we have some fantastic news to share. Again, broken record me, fantastic guests who get really vulnerable and open up on all of their struggles and how far they are along in their journeys. But for those of you who might be joining, did not listen to the informational episode, this episode is called All Things Journaling, Part 1. I mentioned that I was going to walk you through some of my favorite types of journaling. Some I've used before, some I have not, but I've had some friends who have used them, so I know a little bit about them. We're going to split it up into 2 parts. I'm going to do 5 types of journaling in this episode. Take a week off, post a guest, our first ever guest. I am so excited. I don't know why I keep saying first ever. That's how long of a break it feels like. Our first guest of this new round of episodes. Again, all that in the information dump. Let's jump right into this episode, All Things Journaling, Part 1. So I wanted to start out by letting you know what mental health journaling is not. It is not a substitute for professional help. It's a great addition to therapies and mental health support, but it should not serve as a sole replacement. You can, however, take your journaling to therapy or to your care team, but just remember, if you're experiencing thoughts that could result in harm or serious risk to yourself or others, please seek safety and support or professional help immediately. Mental health journaling is also not a way to just avoid addressing difficult issues. Journaling can help you begin dealing with these topics, these difficult topics, but it's important to have the courage to continue this process after acknowledging it in the written form and address whatever is causing you pain, accept it, or receive the necessary support to move on. Journaling does not work if you're not honest with yourself. I hate to break it to you. You'll know you're not honest with yourself till you'll get this uncomfortable feeling of what you're writing down. It becomes a game more of, hey, let me write this because this is what I want to feel. And again, if I write it so many times, I can trick my brain into it. A little bit of misuse of visualization. But if you're really not honest and believe what you're writing on the paper and ignoring things that you don't want to acknowledge, it'll just sit back in the back of your mind and dictate most of your core beliefs and behaviors. That should be in the page. That should be on the journal. That right there might have been a journaling session in itself. But again, we'll get into that. Now, I will tell you what journaling is. Go Global is a free-flowing technology company that handcrafts, embellishes, and manufactures garments and accessories. Designed on the principles of people, places, and possibilities, Go Global reimagines fashion and is inspired by you, the people of the world. It's pretty simple. The University of Rochester Medicine Center says it's simply writing down your thoughts and feelings and understanding them more clearly. If you struggle with stress, depression, and anxiety, keeping a journal can be a great idea. It can help you gain control of your emotions and improve your mental health. That is exactly what journaling is meant to be. Again, it's a tool for you to help you. If it's not helping, put the tool back. Grab a different tool. However, so many of us don't even know the types of journaling, how to start journaling, what's a good example of journaling. Can you do beginner journaling, intermediate journaling, expert journaling? Can you start and then fall out of love and then come back to journaling? And the answer to all of those is yes. And without further ado, I will introduce the 10 types of journaling we'll be going over in the next 2 episodes. Again, some of which I have used, some of which I have not. But in this episode, I will go over these 5. Gratitude journaling, prompt journaling, emotion journaling, letters, and lists. Yes, listing things down can be a form of journaling. Again, we'll get into that. And next episode, Conversations with Caleb episode, All Things Journaling Part 2, we will talk about dream journaling, reflexive journaling, art journaling, religious journaling, and the stream of consciousness. Again, those next two are going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to say too far out there because, again, I've used a few myself and it's had very positive effects. But the gratitude, the prompt, the emotion, the letter, and the lists are all relatively straightforward, and 5 tools in your journaling tool belt, we'll call it now, that you can get started with if you so choose. So, cool, Caleb. We know what journaling is not. We know you're going to go over 10 of them. Why should I do these? Well, I'm going to speak from a place of experience. I recently pulled out my journal the other day and looked at the date in the beginning of the journal, and the year was dated 2013. 11 years ago. I was 12, 13 years old. I was journaling back then, and I didn't even really realize what it was. Again, I had to switch my mindset back then that boys could use journals as well, and they weren't called diaries, and it was okay, and you could express your art, your thought. I was drawing pictures back then, and I laugh now and look back because I must have had the biggest crush on somebody throughout middle school and high school, and they just didn't reciprocate those feelings. A lot of my journaling was in the form of art, and it was like a kid crying, looking out a window, holding a sad teddy bear. It was like, if only you could see me through your eyes, and I drew a picture of eyes. I don't know, I had like this long story in there that walked through emotions, and it was about a guy and a girl, and the girl actually liked the guy, but I think I reversed the roles again to kind of dance around the emotions I was feeling. I mean, you can see I started a long, long time ago. That is not in any of the, not in any of the journal prompts and journal types we'll be getting into today, but I just wanted you to know. I'm speaking from a place of experience, and yes, I am not a mental health professional. I am simply here to share what has worked for me, hopefully provide a little bit of insight on this journaling topic, and make it less scary and more accessible to you. So without further ado, we will jump into journaling type number 1, gratitude journaling. A gratitude journal is a type of journal that is used to document all the things for which you are grateful for. Pretty simple. We do encounter as humans both positive and negative setbacks and beliefs in our lifetime, and journaling can be a fantastic way. Gratitude journaling can be a fantastic way to boost your overall well-being and promote positive thinking, not really focusing so much on those negative beliefs. Building these positive thoughts, habits, and behaviors is vital to improving our mental health, and a gratitude journal is the best way to start, in my opinion. Sometimes when we end up collecting too many of these negative beliefs about our lives based on our past experiences or just our thoughts, it can cause elevated anxiety, poor mental health, regular distress, even depression. Again, I can't diagnose it, but those are just a few of things that you might experience if we let all these negative self-beliefs pile up. A gratitude journal helps us address these beliefs, but then also replaces them with more positive thoughts, right? They can help you start to see that you may have more blessings in your life than challenges, despite how negative your perspective of your life may be. Let me say that again. You might have more, and in fact, I'm willing to argue you do have more blessings than challenges in your life, despite what you are thinking right now. Yeah, right, Caleb, my car broke down. I need to get a new washer and dryer. I have student loans. I didn't start this game if I'm an athlete. I missed the winning goal. I screwed up here. I messed up there. I'm doing bad at work. I can't find a job. Stop. Reflect and gratitude journal. All right, again, cool, Caleb. I know what a gratitude journal is now. How do I start? Because every time I journal, I just stare at the page, write down the date, and I don't know, maybe scribble. Fantastic question. Ready? This is where other types of journaling start to come into gratitude journaling. To start your own gratitude journal, put 5 bullet points on the page. Do things you're familiar with. Fill up those 5 bullet points with simple things throughout your day that made you smile. That could be, I laughed as I was scrolling through Instagram this morning. I was blessed enough to wake up and feel the sun on my skin as I walked to my car before I went to work. I had a delicious bowl of Lucky Charms this morning. I mean, you name it, right? We can get as simple as you want. I am thankful that I have a bed to sleep in. I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. Again, those things you were often taught as a child can help you back in your adulthood. As time goes on and you continue to practice, maybe you expand your bullet points from 5 to 10. Maybe you have 3 core bullet points that you remind yourself every day. I am grateful for X, Y, and Z, and the remaining 7 change based on the challenges you're facing in life, or the challenges you've overcome is probably a better way to word that. Using a gratitude journal can help you stay mindful for all of these things. And like I said, you can use a notebook, you can use a piece of paper, you can just buy something to write in. You can use what you have in resources. You can type on a laptop, although I really appreciate the pen or pencil to paper aspect in my journaling. I spend so much time of my own personal day in front of a screen, whether it's work, whether it's for this podcast, playing video games, you name it, watching TV, that I just appreciate no technology for a minute, besides maybe playing some music in the background, and a pen or pencil and paper. Remember, gratitude is a practice, though, and it requires a lot of commitment over time without focusing on the results. Again, your first 50, 100 gratitude journals, yes, 50 to 100, can be a list of 5 things, the 5 same things that you keep being grateful for. Horrible English. Let me start again. The same 5 things over and over again that you are continuously grateful for. Much better, Caleb. Maybe on 101 you add a 6th. 110 you add a 7th. Maybe it's not a list at all. Maybe you're just writing on a page. I am thankful today for my pillow, for my dog, for my cat, for my friend Susie Lou, for this music, for the wonderful weather that I got to see snow. You name it. Maybe it's not a list. Whatever it looks like for you, just make sure it's things that pertain to your life that you are grateful for. And it will come naturally over time. Again, give yourself a break. There's no right or wrong way to gratitude journal as long as you are focusing on the positives more than the stresses. Salt City Vintage, where nostalgia meets style. Salt City Vintage is a treasure trove of unique and timeless pieces that will elevate your wardrobe. Salt City Vintage believes in the power of fashion to evoke emotions and memories. They don't just sell clothes. They provide a sense of nostalgia and comfort to their customers. So, whether you're looking for that perfect vintage band tee or a statement jacket, come visit Salt City Vintage on Instagram or at any of their pop-up locations to experience the magic of retro fashion. What's a prompt journal? Fantastic question, because I didn't know. Prompt journals are questions, suggestions, or ideas that can help inspire you to simply write in your journal on days where you're exhausted from doing gratitude journaling, or it doesn't pertain to this point in your life. Maybe you're very stressed and you can't get yourself to open the journal. Start by giving yourself a prompt, because starting is the hardest part. They can be specific questions or statements, or they can be a topic, a theme, or an overall aspect of your life. Okay, again, cool, I understand what it is. How do I start? I could tell myself, oh, this is a prompt that I want to do. How do I get the pen to the paper? Again, at the heart of it, journaling is really just about putting your thoughts down on paper, and starting your personal growth journal or your prompt journal is no different. Again, choose your medium. We'll stick to pen and paper for the rest of this episode just for ease. And then choose your prompt. It's on you to choose the prompt, unless, again, you're coupling it with therapy or your team of supporters. They might see something and give you a prompt. Take it or leave it. Once you have that prompt, just start. Just start. You could start with the gratitude and work into the prompt. You can write, I have no idea how to even write about this prompt. I've never experienced X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Get the creative juices flowing, whatever that looks like for you. Start. You're the only one who can start it for you. I'm just going to say that again. You are the only person who can start this process for you. When push comes to shove, you have to take it upon yourself to journal if that's what you think will help you. It can be these prompts can be deeply personal or just overarching. Just find a quiet, comfortable space with you and your thoughts and reflect without distractions. You also don't have to write for hours at a time. That is another misconception with any type of journaling, not just prompt. It can quite literally be the color red. Well, the color red reminds me of the Boston Red Sox and lobsters. Okay, cool. What else does the color red remind me of? A lot of times when I think of the color red, right now I must be hungry because I'm thinking about Tootsie Pops. Everyone loves the flavor, but red also reminds me of anger, and I've been quite angry in my life lately. When I see red, when I'm yelling, what else? The color red also reminds me of sunburns, and I'm very thankful that we have good weather, and I've seen quite a lot of sunburns right now in the summer, so that's what the color red reminds me of today. I mean, none of those, well, some of them apply to me. I do have a little sunburn, but you can see that as an example. Don't worry, I'm not angry at anyone right now. It was just typical color red, right? It's really that simple. It doesn't have to be deep and all that. It's just a way for you to write about a prompt and continue the practice. Prompt writing, for me, has been about the consistency. When I don't feel like tackling a heavy topic, when I don't feel like gratitude journaling, when I don't feel like art journaling, I just give myself usually a silly prompt and just use the space, the time allotted before I go to bed to continue to journal. Again, no one's looking at this. It's not a test, so don't worry about grammar, spelling, punctuation. Just let your thoughts flow freely. Let your authentic self come through. It's a personal and private space for you to grow. Next up on the list of all things journaling, part 1 is emotion journaling. What is this? Emotion journaling is, again, writing down your thoughts and feelings to understand them more clearly. Similarly to mood journaling. Again, emotion journaling, in my opinion, is different than mood journaling because moods can last 5 minutes to an hour, while emotions usually are lifelong, last years, months, weeks, right? Mood is the short term for your overall emotions. Emotion journaling encourages you to sit with these thoughts that have been festering for a while and help you unpack them and hopefully understand them more or let them go. Since we talked about anger earlier, let's stick with anger as an example. Actually, no. We're going to choose love. We're going to choose the exact opposite. Let's choose love as an example. Start by writing all about love. The things, the people, the places, anything that can contribute to it. Because again, misconception, people think when they go to their journal, it has to be something dark, it has to be something angry, it has to be something confusing. It can be something happy, light, lovely. So let's focus on love for this prompt. Emotion journaling. Okay, Caleb, my emotion is love. I understand I have to write about it. How do I get the pencil to the paper? There is no magic formula. Again, no magic formula. You have to do this yourself. You have to be willing to pick up that pen, open that laptop. Again, I prefer pen and paper. Just start the process. Top. You could do it like we did in kindergarten or homeschool if you're homeschooled. L-O-V-E. L stands for laughing. I love laughter. O stands for out of town. I love going on vacations. V. Stands for violet. I've come to appreciate the color purple lately. And E. I'll let you guys think of E because I'm stuck. Actually, no, that's a cop-out. Come on, Caleb. E. Enjoying the sun. There you go. Love down the left-hand side. Laughter, out of town, violet, enjoying the sun. Then you can take those words and turn them into something deeper. Or it could look like this. Love. I love my family. You know what? We're going to get a little personal here. Ready for this? This will be a practice for me. This is what my emotional journaling session will look like today. I love my family, but I am ready to move out on my own. And that is a tough thing for me. I love what I do for a living. I love my job, but I know that there's more I'm capable of, so I'm going to try my best to move up within the company that I'm at, should they accept me. I love myself, but lately I haven't been treating myself with the utmost respect in terms of my bedtime. I've been drinking what is it, a caffeine-free Canada Dry, trying to trick myself to think I won't stay up past midnight. At 10 o'clock at night, I'll drink the Canada Dry. I love myself, but I haven't always been showing it. How do you dance with this emotion of love? I'm going to stop my caffeine intake earlier in the day. I'm going to give my family hugs before I move out to let them know that I appreciate them and all that they've done and continuously do for me, but I'm ready to spread my wings and fly. And to be honest, this is why we write it down, because I'm drawing a blank on the other third thing that I said. So, I think you get the point. Emotion journaling is something that you sit with. I don't think love is always a mood, although it can be. This is something that, for me personally, has been an emotion, just the emotion of love and the positive and negative battles with it. So there we go, a little personal to me, but I hope that gives you a wonderful sense of what emotion journaling looks like. Now let's move on to letters. I think the most common letter type of journaling is Dear Future or Dear Past Self. And there's nothing wrong with those. I just think those are the two most common, so that's where we will stay. You can write a letter to your future self expressing your hopes, dreams, and intentions, or you can reflect back on a time where you're experiencing self-doubt or fear and how maybe you overcame that to transform your outlook. Again, some journaling sessions are going to be heavy and sad and cumbersome. Right? They're going to be uncomfortable, but it's important, at least in my opinion, to try and turn those moments of unease into reflective moments of pride or happiness or just a sense of comfort and coziness. So if you're going to focus on future self, this is what it may look like. Dear Caleb, in 2030, I hope you're a father. I hope you have loving children and a beautiful wife. I really hope that you're doing well still, that Make Mental is flourishing, and I hope that your fitness stays up, because I know that is something you are worried about. The older you get, the less and less time you have or will dedicate to yourself, because you are relatively self-aware. We're not going to give you that much credit. I hope that you have moved up in your job. I hope you are living in the state that you want to, in a beautiful home where you will have a lot of dogs and just a wonderful, happy family. I hope that the rest of your family is happy and healthy. I hope that you continue to prioritize yourself and your mental health, as difficult as that may be. And if you are living out your wildest dreams right now, which I doubt you are, you'll be playing professional soccer. The end. Dear current Caleb, visit later. Right? Pretty simple. Again, that was surface level. That was fluff. Sometimes it can be like that. Sometimes you can take one specific thing. Dear future Caleb, I hope that in 20 years you will have overcome X, Y, and Z. You will have gotten better at X, Y, and Z. This is what it will look like. Again, it's that little visualization to kind of take the stress off what you're experiencing and not really push it further, although it might feel like that, pushing in the future, but helping you see that you can already see yourself through it in the future, right? That this pain is momentary, and if it's not momentary and it will last for a long time, you can work through it, that your future self is still around because you have worked through it. Now let's flip a little hard switch. Let's reflect on a time when you overcame self-doubt or stress. Dear Caleb, I'm so proud of you for even yesterday. Let's go yesterday, overcoming a little worry that you had. Your car was shitting the bed, for lack of better terms, and you were really worried and stressed that you're going to have to spend a lot of money on potentially a new car. You tested the waters to see if you had to buy a new one or if you could fix it. I am proud of you for remaining as calm as possible and utilizing lovely resources to help you get through it. Shout out my family members and girlfriend supporters to get me through that. It worked out. I am very proud of you because in the past you might have had an anxiety attack. Love current self. Simple, right? Again, not terribly deep, although letter journaling can be. I prefer, again, on a place of experience here, keeping this one fluff, but you have to figure out what is for you. And I'll take that back. It's not fluff. That was a lot of progress made in those two spoken letters. But It's not that heavy, dreary, dark theme that sometimes is associated with journaling. It acknowledged what I've overcome. It acknowledged what I struggle with. It acknowledged how I overcame my struggles. And then in the future one, it was proof that I will have overcome or will still be willing to work through those struggles. And let's move on to the final type of journaling of the episode, lists. This one is crazy because I didn't think it was a type of journaling. Here I am looking at my desk as I record this. 7 lists on my desk. Apparently I am a super lister. I will cross it off and then at the end of the night, not really take the time to enjoy what I've crossed off and celebrate the success there. I just rip it up after I make a new list and I have nothing crossed off. So I wake up in the morning and feel motivated to get it done. That does not work for everyone. Sometimes it does not work for me, but that is a little insight into Caleb, the listaholic is what I'm going to call myself. But I digress. Let's talk about what list journaling could look like for you should you choose to use it. So should you choose to use this one is kind of one that blends all the forms of journaling that I will mention in this episode and next together. You can use it to gratitude, right? I said 5 bullet points of things you're grateful for today, this week, or month. 5 things you are grateful about your health, your mind, and body, or 5 people you are grateful for. And I challenge you to do why for those. Many of these lists can be used on as I stutter here, on a regular basis. Holy cow, that word was hard to come by. You can, while you're brushing your teeth in the morning, read the list. Again, for me, yes, saying it is very powerful. Speaking things into existence is very powerful, but so is writing or seeing. So write it down once while you're brushing your teeth, read it over. While you're combing your hair, put a sticky note on your mirror, read it over. Or actually write it. For me, that's when I get the best results. A to-do list, as I mentioned just a moment ago, is a perfect way to journal. You can include chores as well as more leisurely things. Maybe you want to clean out your closet and then go buy new clothes. That could be a journal. You can create short-term goals for yourself or long-term goals and dreams. You can reflect on past goals, kind of like we did in the letter journaling, but in a list form. You can give yourself a handwritten congratulations when you're complete. You can leave a space underneath your bullet point that says mop floor, and underneath a blank line. After you mop the floor, cross it off and write congratulations, go take a 5-minute break. Fantastic. You can list your favorite things, remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself who you are. In July, write to yourself what you want for the holiday season. For me, that's Christmas. In July, I will take my notebook, and if I see something cool that I really like while I'm golfing, I will, well, not my notebook for this one, I'll type it in my notes. So when my mom says, hey, what do you want for Christmas, buddy? I'll send her that screenshot of things I wanted in July because, again, recency bias comes into effect around the holiday season when you see a lot of commercials. Maybe you can rewatch a movie you used to like. Put that on your list, right? Watch a movie, find 3 things I want for the holiday season, and go for a walk or listen to music or play a video game. And then again, cross those off your list and maybe add them to the bottom when you're done. You can do a dream travel list. You can do motivational and inspirational quotes. These are huge for me. I have them plastered all over my mirror in the morning. I got to take some down, I think. I'm a little bit distracted. There's so many. You could track your habits. Again, that's very careful. Very careful with this one. Please, if you're going to track your habits, talk to your mental health professional before doing so, because sometimes it can become an unhealthy session. But I think you get the point. There are so many ways to make lists, but I want you to do it while taking care of you. Okay. A lot thrown at you in that 30-minute episode. I will do a quick recap. We have gratitude journaling, prompt journaling, emotional journaling, letter journaling, and list journaling. Holy cow, let's try that again. Gratitude, prompt, emotional, letter, and lists. Gratitude journaling is a type of journaling that is used to document all the things for which you're grateful. Pick up the pen, pick up the pencil, open the laptop, get started on your journey of personal growth. Emotional journaling, again, the long-term understanding of your moods. This one is oftentimes the one that does get the most uncomfortable and really forces you to be honest, like we talked about in the beginning. And again, one last time, if you have any unease while doing this, please take a step back and consult someone who is able to help you. Letter journaling, again, different prompts. Two basic ones we went over were Dear Future Self, Dear Past Self. You could do Dear Current Self. You could write a letter to someone who you'd been meaning to write a letter to and never send it out to help you get emotions out. I think you get the idea. And last but not least, on this list is lists. List journaling is powerful. Just be sure you're using these for your benefit. And again, if at any point you are feeling stressed or struggling or more depressed or more anxious, whatever emotion you came in to help mitigate, if you're feeling more of it, take a break. Much like a tool, right? Again, we'll kind of round out with this tool reference. If your nail is dull that you're trying to hammer into the wood, you're not going to keep trying to pound on a dull nail. You're just going to go get a new one. If your scissors, your little safety scissors, whatever color you choose, I will choose yellow, are too dull, you're not going to try and force cut the paper. You're just going to go get a new pair of scissors. Or rip, but I don't recommend ripping your emotions. For journaling, if you're struggling, if you're confused, maybe re-listen to this episode, see if something will stick. But if it doesn't, stop. Just stop. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? We can revisit it. We can sharpen the scissors. We can sharpen the nail. We can get a stronger hammer. We can adjust our technique, because sometimes it's our technique that's off and it's not the medium we're using. But do that through someone who is qualified to help you. And with that, we are to the end of our first conversation with Caleb. I will again humbly ask you here at the end to like, subscribe, share, comment, give suggestions. Let us know how journaling went for you. Please don't share any of the personal details if you are not comfortable. I just want to know if anything I've said this episode has helped you. As always, we love you, prioritize you, and you are worth it.